synonymous with going fast. So too is racing. So naturally the Hedgehog would be put into a few racing games. This year we'll be seeing Sonic Team Racing, but that's not what I want to talk about today. Because I believe that they had a better formula for Sonic Racing. Something with such style and grace that has unfortunately been... Oh, can we not? Sonic Riders is everything Sonic would be, but also is a complete contradiction. It's technically the 4th Sonic racing game, and surprisingly the 3rd one where he isn't using his staple ability he was marketed for to race. Why? This game was the last Sonic game Yuji Naka was actually a part of. Just like a father to leave his son during a weird puberty phase of life, huh? The Yuji Knockers went on to start his own company called Prope, famous for such hits as the Let series of Tap and Catch. Oh, and going from the creator of
the biggest gaming icon of the 90s
to mobile skiing. Yep. Being his last project, it was sort of a last hurrah in making a dynamic, original Sonic racing game. I hate when games yell at me. They didn't want to do karts, they didn't want to do bikes, they wanted... But hey, Sonic on a hoverboard in a racing trick-based game? That's actually an original idea. What? Hold on! I'm parroting Unseen 64's much more credible video. But basically, the small company made these tech deck skateboarding games. Then they moved on to make a rocket power skateboarding game that eventually was canceled. It also just so happened they were working on Sonic Heroes for the cutscenes. So they had these assets, they had an unused skateboarding game, and they said, we could make money off this. And they presented it to Sega, and Yuji's knockers were going crazy, and he said, we'll call you back. They did not call back. So it's been over a decade since this game came out, and now we can finally ask the question if it stands on its own merits as a racer, a stolen concept, and Yuji Naka's final Sonic project. Yeah, that's about right.
Fuck critics, you could kiss my whole asshole.
It's true, critics have led me astray more often than not, and hindsight is 50-50, so either this game is good, or it's a Sonic game. Let's get going. The intro is still one of my favorite gaming intros of all time. This one was completely originally animated by another studio, and it's just so fluid, it's epic, it hyped me up for the game to come! I am excited to play Sonic Rider!
Alright! Now we're talking!
Okay, but why are you talking like that? Oh god, the cutscenes, man. I mean, it's not horrible. It actually looks kinda good. Too good! And this hyper-realistic animation's only worse when you contrast it with...
Eggman!
Whew. Eggman, you plotted world domination? You're just happy to see me. There are 3 animation styles. It's like false advertising 2 times in a row. Yes, the presentation of this game is a bit hard to wave the swallow, but I don't think the in-game cutscene graphics are even all that bad, alright?
Ugh.
I would argue that these models and animation style is actually more fitting for the Sonic games than...
Run to get the Chaos Emerald!
I mean, it's not Pixar quality, but I think comparing it to all the other 3D Sonic games, this actually looks better. The characters are expressive and it works for the style of Sonic games. You actually can understand what the characters are thinking by what they have on their face. And that's visual storytelling.
Even without wings, I can still fly!
Kill me. Speaking of style, ooh. These are probably some of my favorite modern-esque Sonic looks from the 2000s. God, Japan always gets the good box art. The thing I like about this game is similar to what I liked about Mario Strikers. It gives all these characters unique alternate clothes that are a lot more sporty and fitting for the game's aesthetic. Eggman with a scarf, Cream with a visor, Sonic with sunglasses. I wish this is how they looked in every game. So, big question, why is Sonic hanging out with all these birds now? Is he carrying a pack of Wonder Bread? Well, trust me, the plot of this game eases you in like getting hit by a truck. The intro cutscene kind of leads you to believe that this is just going to be Sonic and friends on hoverboards and they're just going to be racing around with no stories to hold them down.
Mark of the Babylon Rogues.
You have the key to Babylon Garden.
Babylon Rogues incurred the
It's
wrath
about
of the
the
gods because
Babylon
of their
treasure
crime.
from
The
our
Babylon
ancient
Rogues were
ancestors.
extreme
The
fear specialists.
Babylon Garden is... I get it, okay? It just floats, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah, so these guys are the Babylon Rogues, and they're like Rouge but birds and they want to steal stuff. Like the Chaos Emeralds, and Sonic notices them and he's like,
Now we're talking.
yeah, shut up. And then Eggman hosts a race
I put together a race.
that happens to only invite them so he can secretly get the emeralds. Oh, you nutsack of a man. But this is actually a trick to trick the birds and Sonic so he can erect a fucking island. Seriously, dropping islands, you're picking them up? Make up your mind. Essentially, this all wraps up to Eggman thinking he's stealing some ancient treasure that he always does, except this time...
Huh? What is this thing? It's amazing. The cart's rich texture is a sight to behold, and the way it feels is extraordinary.
And, well, from the outside, it may look like, wow, new characters, sleek backstories. You'd think they'd offer more to the story in the world, but why do you get your hopes up? Jet is literally a worse form of every Sonic rival. Bird, he's green, and a high-pitched squeaky version of Sonic's voice.
Well, that's it. Case closed. It's a bad game. Oh yeah! My 2019 review habits made me forget about that.
Man, imagine if this game was good. Wait, I'm not imagining it, I'm playing it! Sonic Riders has a lot of merits that actually make it sort of a good racing game. Racing games typically have different methods on how to go fast and create a metagame in figuring out puzzles, finding shortcuts, and collecting the right items in order to best your opponents. For example, that little hole on DK Mountain, and if you shimmy your car the right way, it goes... So Sonic Riders kind of took a lot of things from other games and formed it into a different type of racer. Kirby Air Ride's health-based meter, Tony Hawk Pro Skater's tricks, Mario Kart Double Dash's racing, and...
not again.
Basically, Sonic Riders allows you to mushroom boost whenever you so choose, but it takes up air from your air meter. This thing goes down over time as you're racing, but you can lose more of it if you boost, if you charge a jump, or if you drift around corners.
But...
Tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air.
Well, that sparks a few interesting air mechanics. Mainly this bullshit. Now, the whole charging and letting go of your jump is really important because if you do it with right timing, you can launch higher into the air, which allows you to perform more tricks. Performing more tricks grants you more air back to your meter. Wow! And not only that, the trick ramps also give way to shortcuts and alternative paths. Those rascals snuck 2D Sonic mechanics into a racer! Basically, if you hold forward, you go further, and if you hold back, you fly up into the air. I like this compared to Mario Kart because that limits the areas you can get to with items, which are random. This does a cool thing where it actually rewards you based off your skill. Amazing! And this doesn't even go into you can level up your racer with rings and get a bigger air meter, making you cognizant of the rings on the track and item boxes so, maybe you could do better in the race if you actually get in them. You can also boost your opponents and character-specific paths. This game has your staples speed, fly, and power categories. And like in Sonic Heroes, only those characters can tackle certain obstacles and get through them. In some cases, these little additions are really cool and again, make the racing experience dynamic. It's cool, there's secret paths and stuff. I didn't know for years this one was an egg factory and then I did it and I'm like, what? Finding these tracks and succeeding at getting through them rewards you with air, which rewards you with boosts. Which is that's good design. Hard to say that in a Sonic game, but my hands are tied here. Is it perfect? No. Turbulence. I think the point of this was you could catch up to the person in first quicker, but I feel like whenever you're caught in this, get out of here. And honestly, this game is kind of glitchy. Like the hitboxes throw me off. Why did that work? Hey, hold on. What? Am I slipping on ice on a hoverboard?
Well, the game's story is pretty damn short. You could complete it in an hour, but that still doesn't explain how I get the rest of these characters on the unlock screen, and I guess I have to consult my good friend the internet, always telling me about Pikmin's backstory. Jeez Louise with a cracker and cheese. Frick!
I really only started to appreciate these mechanics when I started playing the mission modes. They take you through each of the levels you've played through in the story, and they offer unique challenges within them. From picking up trash, going through rings, successfully doing a number of tricks, or just clearing the level as quickly as possible. It makes for some fun replayability and actually hones your skills at the game so you can get better.
And done, I did it! That was not actually too hard, I didn't have to get all the gold medals, but they actually were fun missions, and I'm glad I can actually play the... You gotta be fist-fucking me.
Well, I appreciate that all my hard work wasn't for naught, but I do not have anywhere to play these characters. And I didn't even get into how there are different boards you can unlock at a shop where I have no idea how you can collect that many rings in the game because there's no modes to play. But these character choices are really neat. I didn't expect this when I was a kid. Yjui from Super Monkey Ball, Ulala from Space Channel 5, and Knights from Who Played That Game. God damn it, it would have been a good racing game if they continued making it well. Because the tracks are cool, just the selection's kind of like, what the hell are these places? You know, Mario Kart has like 1,000,000,001 cups, there's even an egg one. This game has only 2. And it's just painful. If they added more characters, different Sega reps, if they kept the cool alternate clothing style, kept the core gameplay with some improvements, added new tracks, and gave us an online mode to play them on, I'm telling you, this could have been a better racing game than Mario Kart.
Well, at least I don't have to wonder about what could have been, because it's already been ruined, and it's dead, so I can just be unhappy.
You better make sure you're ready when we meet face to face once again. You bet.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.